Starting at the top of the iceberg, we have the invention of Fanta. During World War II, Germany could no longer import Coca-Cola syrup because of trade restrictions. So the German branch of the company had to improvise. Using leftover ingredients like fruit scraps and whey from cheese production, they created a completely new drink. The strange new drink was named Fanta, short for fantasy, meaning imagination. Surprisingly, it became extremely popular in wartime and still is. Diving deeper, we reach the bat bombs. This was a real experimental weapon developed by the United States. The idea was to attach tiny timed incendiary devices to bats and release thousands of them over Japanese cities. The bats would hide in buildings, and when the timers went off, fires would start everywhere at once. During testing, some bats escaped and accidentally set parts of a U.S. military base on fire. The project was eventually canceled. Descending further, we encounter the Messerschmitt Me 262. This aircraft was the world's first operational jet fighter. It was incredibly fast, far faster than Allied propeller planes. When it appeared late in the war, pilots were shocked by its speed. However, delays in production and fuel shortages prevented it from changing the outcome of the war. Going lower, we reach the last Japanese surrender in 1974. Nearly 30 years after the war ended, a Japanese soldier named Hiru Onoda was still hiding in the jungles of the Philippines. He believed the war was still ongoing and ignored leaflets and messages saying it had ended. It wasn't until his former commander personally came to relieve him of duty in 1974 that he finally surrendered. Sinking deeper, we find the Enigma machine. This German encryption device scrambled military messages into complex codes. For years, it seemed impossible to break, but mathematicians and code breakers, including teams at Bletchley Park, eventually deciphered it. Their work allowed the Allies to read secret communications and is believed to have shortened the war by several years. Descending further, we reach the Fugo balloons. Japan launched thousands of large hydrogen balloons across the Pacific Ocean. Carried by high-altitude winds, they were meant to reach North America and start fires or cause panic. Most failed, but a few actually made it across the ocean, making them the first intercontinental weapons in history. Near the bottom of the iceberg, we encounter Wojtek the bear. This is one of the strangest military stories of the war. Polish soldiers in the Middle East adopted a young bear cub and named him Wojtek. The bear grew up alongside the soldiers and even helped carry heavy ammunition crates during battles. Eventually, he was officially enlisted as a soldier in the Polish army. And at the very bottom of the iceberg, we reach the Battle of Los Angeles. In 1942, radar contacts and lights in the sky triggered a massive anti-aircraft response over Los Angeles. Sirens sounded, and the sky filled with explosions as the military fired hundreds of shells at what they believed was an incoming enemy threat. But no aircraft were ever confirmed. To this day, people debate what was actually seen that night. Weather balloons, military misidentification, or something else entirely. Starting at the top of the iceberg, we have Rasputin. He rose from a peasant to the Tsar's most powerful advisor, but he is famous for surviving the impossible. In 1916, nobles fed him enough poison for 10 men, yet he showed no reaction. When they finally used lead to stop him, he rose from the floor to hit back his attackers before escaping into the snow. Diving deeper, we encounter John Titor. In the year 2000, a mysterious figure appeared on internet forums claiming to be a soldier from the year 2036. He warned the world of a future digital collapse and shared blueprints of his time machine. He claimed he traveled back specifically to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer because of a secret debugging function that modern engineers only confirmed existed years after he vanished in 2001. If you've made it this far, save this video. Descending further, we reach the man from Torrid. In 1954, a businessman arrived in Tokyo with a passport from a country called Torrid. He was confused when he saw Andorra on a map, insisting his nation had existed for 1,000 years. While under high security in a hotel room, he vanished from the 15th floor. The most chilling detail is that his personal checkbook and driver's license, which had been locked in a police safe, disappeared at the exact same moment he did. Next is the man in the iron mask. This was a prisoner in 17th century France, forced to wear a velvet mask for over 30 years. He was treated with royal respect, but forbidden from ever showing his face. He was known only as prisoner number 643890000, and the governor of the Bastille was ordered to take the secret of the man's identity to his own grave, or face the same fate. Going lower, we find Caspar Hauser. In 1828, a teenage boy appeared in Germany, barely able to speak. He claimed he had spent his entire life in a tiny, dark cell, fed by a man he never saw. While many thought he was a fraud, a modern DNA test conducted in 2002 on his clothing showed a near-perfect match to the royal bloodline of the House of Baden, suggesting he was a hidden prince all along. Deeper still lies the Zodiac. In the late 1960s, a shadowy figure terrorized California, sending cryptic ciphers to the press. He claimed to have taken dozens of lives, but his real power was the fear he created through his puzzles. It took a team of international codebreakers 51 years of constant work to finally crack his 340-character cipher in 2020, only to find a message mocking the police for never being able to catch him. Near the bottom, we reach Satoshi Nakamoto. In 2008, this name appeared as the inventor of Bitcoin. He built a digital empire worth trillions before vanishing in 2010. He currently holds over 1 million Bitcoin in wallets that have remained untouched for over a decade. If those digital keys are ever used, he would instantly become one of the top 20 richest people on Earth, yet he chooses to let the fortune sit in total silence. At the absolute bottom, we find Jack the Ripper. In the autumn of 1888, a shadow haunted the fog-covered streets of London, operating with such surgical precision that the entire city lived in constant terror. He didn't just evade the police, he mocked them, sending cryptic letters signed with the name that would become the world's greatest mystery. If you made it this far, your attention span is healed, so follow and like for more. Starting at the top, we have the cover-up theory. This is the idea that evidence is being withheld, not for a conspiracy, but for national security. If a nation recovered non-human tech, they'd keep it secret to win the global arms race. While experts say a secret this big is impossible to keep forever, it's the most common answer to Fermi paradox, which tries to explain why we haven't heard anything yet. If they're already here, the truth is just too valuable to share. Diving deeper, we reach they haven't found us. Space is incomprehensibly massive. Our radio signals have only traveled about 100 light-years from Earth, which is a tiny pinprick in a galaxy that is 100,000 light-years wide. To an advanced civilization, Earth might just be another quiet, rocky planet that hasn't done anything interesting yet, and we aren't quite ready to explore the entire space considering our tech. Going further down, we find the wrong frequency. We've spent decades searching for radio waves, but what if advanced life considers radio as primitive as smoke signals? They might use lasers, neutrinos, or quantum entanglement. We could be surrounded by a buzzing galactic conversation, but we are simply tuned into the wrong channel, staring at static while the universe talks past us. Descending deeper, we reach the zoo hypothesis. This theory suggests aliens know we are here but have agreed to stay hidden. Earth is treated like a galactic nature reserve or a laboratory. They watch our progress and our mistakes from a distance, following a rule of non-interference. This explains the Great Silence, where highly advanced civilizations deliberately avoid contact to let primitive species like us evolve without interference. Sinking even further, we have the brief window. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, but human tech has only existed for a few centuries. This theory suggests intelligent life destroys itself, through war or AI, very quickly. In the cosmic timeline, two civilizations would have to exist at the exact same millisecond to find each other. Statistically, if a civilization only lasts 1,000 years, the chances of two species overlapping in a 13 billion year timeline are nearly zero. Dropping into the darkness, we find the predator theory. What if the universe isn't empty, but dangerous? This suggests an ancient AI or super civilization roams the stars, eliminating any species as soon as they become a threat. Every time a planet starts broadcasting its location, it is harvested. This follows the von Neumann probe concept, self-replicating machines that could colonize or sanitize an entire galaxy in just a few million years. Near the bottom, we encounter the dark forest theory. Imagine the universe as a dark forest filled with armed hunters. Every civilization is a hunter creeping through the trees. If you find another, you can't be sure they are friendly. The safest, most logical choice is to eliminate them before they do the same to you. We are currently the only ones screaming in the woods, unaware of the hunters aiming at us. At the deepest point, we have they are already here. This isn't about spaceships, it's about dimensions. This theory suggests aliens are interdimensional beings that have been here longer than humans. They might exist in a spectrum of light or a dimension we simply cannot perceive. Theoretically, if a species lived in the fourth dimension, they could observe us from every angle simultaneously while remaining completely invisible to our 3D vision.